My sister works at CM Always. She had it, basically,
We never attended it.
right around Christmas time, her and two other girls, were in the same office. All come down with it, nobody knows.
My son married up there,
But, yeah,
and, my wife.
she didn't have no real, she just felt poorly for a week or so.
And she came up here and she just like telling.
I'll tell you this time, it's like you walked in the room,
She
she
started
started,
looking.
Just- felt sick, and the next hour I wasn't back. And then my.
Yes, Scott.
Exactly, like, no, they had second, third time. Miles.
Got caught, just wanted to get out of
No, I've been vaccinated.
Everyone else left, we had an Andy on his
My
farm.
wife hasn't had it.
His sons came home from college.
That's why she had it.
Yeah, really, the president of the,
I've never got a flu shot because generally the only thing I ever normally get is bad, real bad signs of it. At least once a year for the last 30 some odd years.
Yeah.
And
my youngest son was
my
in
doctors over the years,
partnership with us.
not gonna make any difference on that. He said, no. It's like, well, good enough.
There you go.
And he told me if he didn't work in the doctor's office with all the sick people, he wouldn't get it either.
They were found
Yeah.
in Clinton, Madison.
So you work at Chimbrow, they're doing pretty good.
Way to work.
It's slowing down a bit, things. It's going really busy right now. What do you do in Chimbrow?
So I'm an engineer, I've been there 9 years.
Yeah, good for you, good for you.
I actually work for the development group, who mostly do, solar and wind projects.
Yeah. I haven't taken the job full time, because I'm at the other end of the pool. You know, I've done all this.
Pretty good time.
I just want to retire.
I'm trying to figure out what else
I know the feeling.
How long, I'm expecting,
Until I
such
find
a
somebody.
joy.
And I'll even go a step further until I find somebody that's a good fit.
That's the way I'm trying to.
They did find the guy, and I still came down every Friday.
And have some kind of
He
legacy,
didn't know,
some memories.
Didn't have a little.
didn't have a clue.
No, I remember, well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's a heck of a nice guy.
I like lots
It's a
of,
good positive.
yes, just didn't make it.
I agree, good for grandkids and
And then he went to basketball, man.
at one point, you know, I didn't, well, they were part of the, they were on the farm for a while. and some-
You're either cut out or you're not.
Yeah, it's all,
Hopefully
a
that'll be.
lot of these jobs are, it either works or it doesn't at all.
9 grandkids.
Part of my job is being a referee, and that's it.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
I wouldn't. The oldest,
you know, I think.
the oldest.
Training all my life.
Once the air force.
We can figure it out.
When they went.
People,
And goes to
amazing.
Texas.
Wireless was down.
And I worked,
Maybe
I think that's true all the time.
I was connected to the wireless upstairs.
Rick,
Can't judge it.
reports that you were enjoying it all your life.
Yeah.
And I like the job, like very
I
seldom.
actually watched the meeting over.
Younger kids.
Yeah, with, you
And I
know,
said,
one
"You're
percent
so
of
fine,
the
everything fine."
people,
19.
I think that's one of my.
You know, and-
It's a lot cheaper.
I really shouldn't have to send them a letter. Clean your act.
No.
I'm going into those places.
No, it's not. How
How
you doing?
They did a great job.
Down by line.
I saw your.
Yes.
your-
Yeah, well, I told the same time.
So probably middle of December.
I dropped that application off.
Everything on time.
Okay.
And I have a check because I didn't know everything would be right there.
Working on fire and found something else, I technically, I'm waiting to see.
Jacob said it took me out.
Everything.
Application.
Peter up there. Friday before.
Working
Oh,
night.
they'll probably be here in a minute, waiting.
Yeah.
Especially like.
I had to walk that one back, huh?
See, I held it in my.
You know, one
I've
guy-
got one.
Oh, yeah, everybody's.
And.
Yeah.
The meeting is still a lot.
Sent me sent that.
Yeah, and they're-
To the computer, sent it in.
I'm usually
And I heard
bad.
nothing.
And a lot of stories that you don't, you know, until like.
Wednesday, Thursday, they call,
Comes early.
they give you a job, I get the
The
job,
numbers is like.
what's the hold up? Well, you haven't said your 1100. Send it all again on the weekend, and it was just Friday to go. Yeah, well, we see another 195, push back. Yeah, I've got heat on that, yeah.
There's like,
50,000.
yeah, we got finding the old souls or poor souls.
Really don't.
I think it's all about pushing the limits, I
Yeah.
guess.
Just do less than that. Static, electrical wiring.
The builders.
I thought, you would be the Agway school.
Okay, I guess we'll start the meeting. We'll start the meeting with pledge of allegiance. They move the flag down there. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're gonna. This is my first meeting,
Right,
and you're gonna elect officers.
I think we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Technically, do we
Think we need a quorum.
need a quorum?
You got four.
We got
You're
four.
at four.
Okay, so technically, we should. You know, I know in the past, he's been sworn in as a board member, like Catherine used to do that,
I think he's all set.
all set, okay, so,
Appointed by the council.
okay. So at that point, we have four people, we'll put it out for election of officers. Currently, it stands on chair, Corey is vice chair. Are there any other,
Any challenges? to
any
that?
challenges to that or changes?
I'm on it. No, I, chair.
Second.
We'll vote on that, all in favor,
I'm
and we'll do vice chair,
on the court.
I'll second that. All in favor? So I guess that was easy enough.
All right.
What's that still, you know?
Seems like it wasn't that long ago, we just voted on that.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was this summer.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
We have adoptions a minute, but we don't have the minutes here. I don't remember when that last meeting was, it was
No,
June maybe, or
it's May or June.
May or June. So I guess we can skip that at this moment.
Push it to the next one.
Number 5, public hearings. I don't think we have anything on the agenda for that. 6, old business. Nothing on that. And 7, new business, pre-application meeting for Scott McIntyre to convert the existing structure located at 203 North Main Street, map 29, lot 84, to a pub style restaurant. Is that you?
How you guys doing?
Okay. So I guess if you wanna give us,
Sure.
the nickel tour of what,
Sure, my name is Scott McIntyre. I have a contract on that particular building. It is contingent on being able to do what I'd like to do with it. The zoning is all a little bit confusing to me. After speaking with the realtors and things, they believe that the shoreland zoning is there. That's a applicable use to turn it into a pub style restaurant. And by pub style, it's really a restaurant. We have a long counter, try and generate, sort of a Cheers type of vibe to it. Have a couple TVs, probably have a long bar and, probably about 20 table seats. Typically it'd be a pub style menu, pizza, burgers, that sort of thing. This is something I've been involved in for over 20 years. Started with the Old Goat in Richmond, which I personally ran for 17 years, and then I developed the Three Robbers Club in Bodenham. That's been going, this is their 6th or 7th year. After that, I developed the 2 Cent in Winslow, which is, they're in their 4th year. Followed by the River Jack in Fairfield. And most recently in Norwich Walk, we put together the Sixpenny. I'm proud of all the places. They're well-run, cozy additions to the community. offering an opportunity for people from the town to get together in an informal setting. We tend to be good corporate citizens. I'm happy to have research me with any town manager, Richard Bell, Norwich Walk will probably have something pretty good to say about me. There's been a lot of changeover in Winslow, so I can't say if I know the people there anymore, because nobody's there from when I started, and I typically rent these out to qualified restaurateurs that get into the business without the capital that is required to do it completely on their own, because as you know, buying a building and retrofitting it for restaurant and with seating and everything, it's, you know, it's beyond a lot of people's reach. It's not beyond their skill and talent level. So, in Bokenham, Nicole Brion would be happy to talk to you, I'm sure. In Richmond, Larissa Loon, she's the town manager. She'd have nothing but good things to say about me. And like to do the same thing in town here.
You still have a financial stake in all those operations? Or?
I own all the buildings, and I try and be a value-added landlord because when I set them up, I create the social media, I furnish them, I do most of the decorations, I come up with menu concepts, and then I'm a guy who's got a lot of experience and they can lean on me to help them every step of the way. I think I'm a great landlord, so.
So, do you, on this property, do you already have someone in mind?
No, I don't.
Or do you go for a period of time and then?
I've done it both ways. Obviously, the first one I ran for
Right.
the whole time until I sold it to the young lady that had worked for me for 10 years. In fact, 3 of the places have former employees that now run them. So kind of lost track of what the question was there.
No, basically, if you already.
Oh, this one here,
Right.
my intention right now would be to start it off myself because after selling the ownership of the business at the Old Goat in Richmond, I've been bored. And you know, you can only sit around the house and drive around to your pubs and collect rent so many times a month, or your wife gets pissed. So because you don't just collect rent. So yeah, that my intention would be to get it going and then find the right person to lease it.
Anybody else have some questions? Curiosity?
How many seats did you say? 20 tables?
No, 20 seats at tables and probably another 12 at the bar, probably between 30 and. It depends on how much of that building gets taken up by the kitchen. It's a good sized building inside. It's about 1,900 square feet. Most of the other places, like Norwich Walk is 30 seats. The River Jack's 30 seats. That's in Fairfield. Winslow is about 45 or 50. The Old Goat in Richmond's 45 or 50, and then the Three Robbers in Bodenham is about 30 seats as well. So depending on what we use up for space for the kitchen will determine what the total seating is. I would imagine it'd be around 35 to 40 max, maybe. Yeah, that would be my best guess.
Did you have any possibility of expanding? It doesn't look that big, that's why I'm.
Oh, no, they don't have to be. In fact, I prefer them small.
Oh,
It's plenty big for the number of seats. In fact, the first place I had was the proto Old Goat in Richmond. It had 20 seats. And I ran it myself and 1 employee. And what I learned in those days, because I had no background in restaurants or pubs or anything like that, what I learned is that, you know, if it gets slow, I can run it myself and I won't go out of business. So, and since I talked about my quintessential pub manager owner that I try and recruit, they don't have a lot of money, they don't have a lot of capital. You need to put, and a lot of them don't have a lot of confidence. So you gotta put them in a position where they're gonna succeed, and you do that by keeping it small. Doesn't mean that I mean, to some extent, it limits their upside. You know, they're not gonna be filthy rich out of these places. But they should be able to make a better living by a factor of about 2 than they do as a restaurant manager somewhere else, working for somebody. And they get a lot of self-pride, they get to be more creative and I think it's good all around. It's good for me because I have a tenant that, really is invested in it. It's good for the town because they have a person who's the figurehead of the thing and it's great for the person, so.
What do you foresee, like hours of operation type thing?
Well,
I know it probably changes.
no, actually, it's changed a lot over the last 15 years. COVID changed everything drastically. Back in the day, we would open up at lunch and we'd be there until 11. On weekends, we'd be there until 12. Nowadays, everybody closes at 9. And that's on Fridays, they're closing at 9:30. That's their late night. Now, the later night have gone away in the business.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenon that it's not just me witnessing it, it's statewide. You know, obviously, the more hours you can operate, if you have the seats filled, you can make more money, so. Typically, I would imagine weeknights, 9 o'clock, you know, weekends, if they're lucky, they'd be there till 11.
Possibly summer probably would be potentially better because.
Summer is a lot better because people just go out later.
Right.
You know, right now, this time, you want to be home at 6, curled up.
Yeah, I was also interested in that answer too, because it's the whole area is just all residential.
Yeah.
Around there,
It's a very solid building. The back, it's all of its concrete blocks, so I don't imagine that noise from inside the building would be much of an issue. It's not like we'd be putting bands in there anyway.
So you don't have any entertainment planned or anything like
No, every once in a while, like most of the places will have acoustic guitars or things like that. I know the 2 Cent in Winslow, they have an open mic night, but it's not like they put bands in there. The place is small. Having a little bit of entertainment is good once in a while, but that's another thing that's changed over the last few years. When I started down in Richmond, recurrent entertainment was what we made our money on. Now I don't think you can make money. You gotta get people eating and drinking, mostly eating because there's more money in it.
But
Mr. Chairman, I don't have an issue with this, but I'd like to see a floor plan in the parking lot before you approve it.
Right.
Just to get, there wasn't a lot of information on your
Right,
application. I don't know how much plumbing you're gonna have to do, but I would like to see what the inside
Sure.
and the dimensions of the building,
sure.
right now, you're planning on not doing anything to the physical size of the building, just the renovation.
Yeah, just interior renovations. Right now, there's 1 bathroom, the floor needs to be completely repaired. It's all, I mean, it's terrible. It's concrete
Yeah.
block with great big gaping rips in it. It's not level at all, so what we're gonna do is build a new floor above that as if it was a deck.
It used to be when you went in the door, when it was corner covered, when you went to your left, there was a drop down there. It was
Yeah.
always a kind of
Yeah, you could die.
a.
So yeah, we're gonna build basically a deck above that.
Right.
And then it'll be level and it'll, cause we're gonna put wood flooring in anyway, and rather than trying to repair that concrete. Cause we have a lot of ceiling height there, it's 14-foot ceilings. So,
Yeah, cause that used to be a garage originally,
yeah,
at least what I've been told, like,
Yeah.
before I lived here, but. I didn't-
yeah. We're gonna replace that garage door with glass ones, which is kind of popular now. You might have seen, garage type restaurant conversions other places. The part with the solar panels on the roof, that's probably gonna be the kitchen. That's gonna leave a 22 by almost 30 space. I think it's 22 by 30 would be the restaurant seating and entertaining area. There's 1 bathroom that needs to be 2. That'll take up a good chunk of the space and you need a little storage and you're gonna do a fair amount of work with there's no real hot water heater. There's an on-demand small electric one, but you need a
You need
50
more
or
than
80,
that.
yeah. And then also, there's only a 1/2 inch water line coming in, so we need to put in a water tank and some kind of jet pump to really get the water pressure what we need throughout the building.
And you're gonna use licensed plumbers and electricians.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna use Dana Tuttle, who's a former state.
Not bad, blame that.
Pat Wingnut's a really good friend of mine, and he's
I like
done,
Dana. He's a
Yeah.
good guy.
he did work for me at the River Jack, and he also did it out in Norwich Walk.
Yeah.
So what he does is right. If the inspector has a problem, he corrects him. Like he used to.
Like he used to, is right. That's the only thing I have, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to see a more detailed plan.
Right, no, I can understand that. Nobody else have any other discussion or anything?
Parking, you adequate now, or?
There's 13 parking spaces there at least, and then there's a little bit of on-street parking across the road, not directly across, but as it gets closer to town, there's probably a dozen.
That's part of your parcel, or?
No, it's not part of my parcel, it's just on-street parking. But on my parcel, there's 13 parking spaces at least. I see what you're saying. If you get the employees to carpool, frees up more.
Yeah, 'cause like you said, you probably, probably only generally have a couple people,
Right,
2 or 3 people there total working.
yeah, usually there's 2 in the kitchen, one in the front, or, because one person should be able to take care of 6 tables and
Right.
10 bar stools.
I guess at this point, I don't think we have any major issues, but just like Al said,
Yeah.
we see some, a little bit more refined points.
Yeah, I did read, what Jacob had sent me in terms of section 8 and 8.1. There are, a number of requirements. I'm not sure whether this is a real site review or not, but, I did write up a letter requesting a waiver on most of that, because it doesn't seem like it is all that, pertinent to what I'd be doing.
Refresh my memory on the 8.1.
Uh,
I just,
you got it? I didn't bring it, I left it on the table.
It's your site plan review,
Okay.
is what Mr. McIntyre is referring to,
right,
and if he's stated there is a lot in there that probably isn't needed.
right, and we generally, as we go through most site plan reviews, there's certain areas that, are definitely not applicable, and other ones that,
Right.
you know,
So in the first paragraph of 8 said something about I could request a waiver in writing, so I wrote up a waiver request, which I brought, but if that's preliminary, I can turn it back in when I drop off.
If you have it, why don't you pass it?
And the only other thing that comes to mind would be, I don't know if we would need, should get something from the, say, Tapestry Water Department, making sure that they don't have any issues with it, which I don't think they will be, but just,
Yeah, I was wondering about that. In other towns, I've been assessed an impact fee. I don't know if all towns work that way or how that works. And
I don't recall having that issue, discussion. But generally, for things like this, sometimes we'll have the water department, talk about, water and sewer a little bit, just to make sure that they don't know any potential issues there
Yeah.
or coming.
Well, my big concern is you can well imagine, I haven't closed on this property.
Right.
I can end the contract. I just need to be 99.9% sure that, if I pay the money for the building, I don't,
Right.
can't go ahead,
Right.
because then I gotta turn around and sell it.
Right.
But I do know that what I've done in other communities is a good asset for the town, and I'm 100% sure that it'd be an asset here too.
No, I don't think anybody has any real issue with that. I think basically the 2 or 3 things we mentioned, Al and I mentioned. If we had a little bit more information on that, I think things would be fine.
Sure. So, a plan of the lot and the
in the interior.
It doesn't have to be an engineer scale, I can do this on graph paper,
We'd like it to be somewhat accurate,
okay.
and the parking places, showing us where,
I can certainly do that,
okay.
alright. I didn't wanna have to hire an engineering outfit to come.
I know one.
Yeah.
No, but I just get some idea what you are.
Okay,
I don't think anyone's against it, it just,
well, good.
um,
I like this town, it's a really, really nice little town.
Yeah, just. Summertime, it's just, it's easier to do business. Probably your plans are would be to hopefully get going sometime by summer.
It will take, this will take 6 months.
Right.
I mean, that's what they all seem to take, so if I close in a month, that puts us at the beginning of, middle of February, so add 6 months to that, hopefully by the fall.
Right.
You know, everybody that works with me, Dana, my carpenter, my electrician, we're all in our 60s, so we don't work that fast.
are you planning to keep the access open the way it is now off the, is it North Main Street?
Yeah, there's access here, and then there's also a little bit of an access to Detroit, on Detroit, that one I don't foresee.
So the door that was facing Detroit Ave was originally going into the storehouse when it was a grocery store.
Oh, you're talking, not the highway access, the
On the
building.
the main road driving by.
Okay,
Are you gonna keep that access so they just cross the traffic and go in?
yes.
You understand what I mean?
There's
Yeah,
also-
there's no curbing or anything
No
there.
curbing.
It never has, well, I don't wanna say they never, in 45 years, there's never been any curbing there.
I only remember it when it was a store.
Right.
And it never was. I didn't know if you had any,
No, that's actually easier, because all the parking is like this,
yeah,
and then you kind of have to have it like that. The one access that comes off that, it's, what do you say?
Detroit
Detroit Avenue, that one is actually problematic, because leaving that open takes away a parking space.
so you probably close that off.
Yes, so that it will all be in from the strike, as long as that's permissible.
Yeah. Let's see your plan.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for your time.
And if you have questions on anything else, Al's in usually on Fridays.
And I'll leave you a copy
Town
of
manager.
that letter. I did bring proof of funds, because that was one of the things that they said in there. If you need that, I'll give you a picture of that too.
Generally, we've only needed to see that very, very occasionally.
Just if you're gonna have Dana do the phone, make sure he brings his license in. I gotta make sure it's current.
Okay, I will, I'll tell him you said
You
that.
tell him that.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. So, any more questions for me? Anything I can?
Laid out pretty well.
Yeah, no, and I think most everybody in town would appreciate another spot to eat.
Well, I've been to Vittles, that's nice.
Yeah.
And, I think they could use some company. Well, thank you all very much. Have a great night. I'll get that to you by the end of the week.
Where do you currently live?
I live in Alma,
Oh, I thought that.
next to Whitefield there.
Yeah,
I've been there originally from Manchester, New Hampshire.
me too.
Went to Colby, are you really?
Go take.
Cote, yeah.
See, last name Cody's.
Yeah, what high school did you go to?
No, I didn't go to school there, but
Oh,
I was born there and all relatives on both sides, everybody was there.
okay. Yeah, no, I went to West High School, which
Yeah.
is,
My brother went west.
oh, yeah? Huh. It's a good high school, but it had its 100th anniversary this year. And I was on the best football team they ever had. Anyway, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
This is number 8, discussion items. Any more discussion?
I have a couple, and they concern zoning changes. in the street beside the wood mill down here. What's, I forget the name,
You're talking, yeah, Stinson Ave.
Stinson
Down,
Ave.
down by Hancock lumber.
Cincinnati.
Right.
I had talked to a woman, I think she's part owner of that. She is a building right there that she would like to open into a fitness center.
Right.
It's commercial across the street. It's commercial one lot over. It does not allow for a fitness center to go in. And we've got a couple of them in Newport, one in Dexter. There's like no noise. You know, there's no loud bands, no hooting and hollering. They go in, they work out and they come out. And I guess I don't know which is the best way to address that, to a zone change or to allow a use in that zone as a fitness center.
We've had a little bit of discussion about that, I'm in favor of conditional use.
Yeah.
But everybody else seems to think we're stuck on a zone change, need for a zone change, so.
With this, yeah, I'm gonna throw another wrench in the gears. This side street right here that has a church on the corner. Goes down and there's a Chinese restaurant there and there's a commercial district there and there's a blank lot. An empty lot where the VFW used to be.
Right. You talked to me about this a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. I have someone that would like to put a flower shop in there. This is a commercial district with public parking across the street. But she's not allowed to do that there.
Right.
So would you do it with a zone change or a change in use in the zone?
I looked at, you know, when we discussed it, I was thinking that lot was the last lot to the Quonset building there. It used to be.
No, there's one
There's
house.
a house, I didn't know there was one house there, because if it was, right, it would be real simple just to extend that zone. But now, you know, and I thought about that too, that, you know, technically, that's, as far as I'm concerned, still downtown areas, which, you know,
It does.
and, you know,
And it was commercial when the VFW was there.
Right.
But not when the flower shop, but
right.
it wasn't a residence either.
Yeah, you know, personally, I don't see much issue with it, especially on that location right there with, you know, municipal parking right across the street and everything else.
Yeah,
You know,
and it's not a busy, it's not Main Street though.
right,
It's kind of a slow street.
you know. Yeah. It's probably one of those type of business, a flower shop that, you know, there's probably 6 or 8 days a year that it's crazy busy.
Yep.
And then the rest of the time it's just normal.
Yep.
You know, no different than, you know, barber shop or something along that.
There you go, yeah.
What's anybody else's thoughts on that? Are you familiar with, well, where we're talking?
I'm trying to get it.
So, if you turn right here with the Chinese restaurant.
Yep.
Turn up that street, you got the Chinese restaurant. You've got the Quonset building, it used to be a Monkey Ward's years and years ago. There's an older 2-story house, and then there's an empty lot. And another house, so that the empty lot and the next house are owned by the same person. She owns the lot, correct?
She owns the lot with nothing on it. I haven't looked to see what else she owns.
Oh, she doesn't own the house next to it.
I don't know.
Oh, okay, that's what in my mistake, I was thinking that's what,
And I'm sorry, I didn't look that up.
okay,
She was only talking about that lot, the VFW or
right,
used to be on, or Legion, whichever one.
right. Yeah, so I guess it's a lot big enough to put a building and have setbacks and everything?
I think the lot is big enough
Okay,
and meet the setback. She
Yeah.
doesn't really need,
huge building,
she can have a narrow building and it will work,
right,
you know, it's deep enough. Just something to think about.
right, because I know you said that you've talked to you a few times, but
She has.
she hasn't been pushing herself, you know, but,
Well, you know, I mentioned that to her a year ago.
right,
Go see him.
right.
So I saw her this year and she said, bring it up. I said, I will.
Yeah. Are you familiar with what we're talking for?
Yeah, I am, and you say she already owns the parcel.
She already owns the parcel.
Because she runs the stuff, the place in the mall now.
Susie.
Susan,
She does, she's renting there. She's in the high rent district
Right.
here. Which way do you think? That just a change of use for that area or rezone the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, rezone that. You can't really rezone just that lot,
Right,
have
you don't.
residents on one side and residents on the other. Because that would be spot zoning.
Right, so if you technically, what complications would we encounter if we rezoned that whole side of the street as, cause you could, you know, as potential commercial? That, 'cause I thought about that too after we talked with, you know, down the road, you know, who knows what could come if someone else wanted to build
Right.
buildings or something else.
Someone else might
But-
wanna come there and put,
Right.
I don't know what.
Cause just because it's zone commercial and you've got a residential house there, doesn't mean anything,
Right.
anything that you're living in is gonna change.
No, but it might increase the value of that.
Potentially, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, at that point, at that case, giving a, variance or however you want to word it, would be the easiest way. As long as
Or change of use.
change use, yeah,
Change
yeah,
of
that's
use
what I
to
meant.
allow flower shops
Right.
in that residential area.
Yeah.
But it would allow flower shops all over town in the residential area. Not that I think you're gonna have a big
Right,
influx of flower shops, but she's talking in new building.
which, has to increase value in looks better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I
What
talking?
is the procedure, and if you give a variance for flower shop, or whatever, and they do that, and then they wanna sell the building, what happens at that point? Is that variance still specific or? Show up,
It wouldn't-
business,
It
or
would,
they can't do anything along with it?
you can't give a variance to that, but you can allow that use to be in that area. So if that was a flower shop, they couldn't put a bar in there because it's not allowed in that area. Or for just an example, they couldn't put a small engine shop.
Specific to the business that we give. the
Yeah.
permission.
Yeah, it would be specific to a flower shop. Or you could change that whole side of the street from the church all the way down to the Chinese restaurant, you can make that commercial. Well, part of it's already commercial anyway.
Right.
I don't think it has any real impact on property values, but it may increase it for someone that wanted to do something.
And that was one of my thoughts was if we allowed that whole street, that side of the street to, be used as commercial, it would potentially open up more possibilities for business in town.
It would,
Because, things are somewhat limited, getting somewhat limited.
Yeah.
And, depending on, if you wanna be in downtown, your choices probably are quite limited. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Well,
you
they
want,
have quite a minute,
Right.
right?
and if you wanna be out. But toward the interstate, they might not be quite as limited, but they're probably more pricey.
If you had, we'll say a doctor's office, one come in, I'm gonna tear that building down and put up a new office, the doctors, that would fit in there, professional office. It's right on the side of the commercial, right, on the commercial area.
If we gave a use for that lot, that would be quick, relatively quick and easy. If we want to change zoning, then we'd have to do some public hearings and a couple other things.
That's right, you could do a change of use through the council.
Right.
To allow a flower show.
So we would okay it on our end, then it would go to councils to be, voted on up or down, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what we're proposing is just to amend the zone to allow a flower shop.
Well, I'd like to have you think about it till the next meeting.
Right.
Okay, I'm not asking for.
Right, and we would, before we did that, we would need to see more, plans and things of that sort, to know just what we're okaying, so to speak.
That's right. And I can talk to her and ask her if she can do something.
I think you could tell her that, as a board, we're open to the, you know, quite open to the possibility, you need more,
A little more information.
more concrete information.
What about the fitness studio?
You know,
I have no problem with changing it.
I mean, I think a change of use in that area.
Right.
On Stinson Ave. If she merged those two lots, no, if she had it in her garage, I could give her a home occupation. But it's two separate lots, and they do, the setbacks are there.
that was one of my questions we had a few meetings on.
Yep.
Were the numbers there for the property lines and things of that sort?
Yep, they are there.
The other thing, when we were looking at zoning, was the lots to the, you know, to the east and south, where the bowling alley and everything used to be. I was quite surprised to see that was all back to residential, or it was listed as residential, which I don't know what happened years ago, but, you know.
Yeah.
My mind thought, you know, that's, wouldn't be a bad thing to have that as, you know, commercial, but,
Yeah. Or at least allow a fitness studio.
right.
I mean, she's got a beautiful building there. Yeah. And I think, I don't know what she has for clientele, but right across the street is about as commercial a business as you possibly get.
Right. Yeah, so, and, you know, the noise from the sawmill would probably overshadow a fitness studio.
The aches and groans.
Yeah, the moaning and groaning probably wouldn't be quite that loud.
Moaning and groaning, here we go, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So can we think about that?
Yeah, we can think about
Well,
that.
I didn't think of it.
Have another quick look. Is Joel still gonna do some work with us from KB Cog?
I have not heard otherwise,
You have not heard otherwise, so that means, yeah,
as far as I know.
okay, I'm just curious. Well, we haven't had a meeting for quite a while, I didn't know if anything else changed,
I'm in contact.
because he was always up on the rules and regulations and things. So. Anybody else have anything?
Well, I just, out of curiosity, I see that the roof blew off the building next to the theater. Is that in your ballpark right now, or?
Nope. It blew off Rennie's, right?
Right.
Onto the theater.
It blew onto the Rennies, it's the building
Oh.
between the theater and Rennies.
Oh, was it?
Okay,
I wasn't sure. I heard that the Rennie was blasted through, so I haven't been up there to look, so.
There's one beside it, and I know people have looked at it, and there's asbestos issues there, so I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
I'll tell you, I missed two meetings because I had COVID. You know, when I came in last week, I was just wide open.
Yeah, no, this wasn't anything we discussed in the meeting, this happened in that last storm. Actually, I was sitting in my office, or actually I was in somebody else's office over at Chimbro, we'd lost the power. And I was sitting beside the window, looking out the window, and there probably already something had fallen off the roof, because they already had it, coned off on the street.
Oh, really?
But, the wind came up and it picked that roof up and blew it away.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it, to be honest with you, but I will.
Well, that was my question is, what authority? Whose job is it to figure out what happens to that building now? It was already up for sale.
It blew onto the theater of,
No, blew onto the old Rennie's building.
so I would say it's probably an issue with the roof at Rennie's now. And probably an issue from the theater where the roof blew off.
Yeah. So that was that part of the old Klein Smith building?
No,
No,
You sure? Okay, so it was part of it.
I guess so.
This is all.
I'm trying to think,
this is the three-story building. It's
Yeah.
called Perkins Building.
okay.
I have a picture of it.
But Klein Smith had two different sections in there, two different buildings or whatever at one point.
So I think Kleinschmidt actually has three buildings.
Okay.
Then it's the theater, then this building, then Rennie's.
Okay.
It kind of fell on the stands as well.
I will call, I have Tom's number from Rennie's and I'll give him a call and see what his thoughts are going ahead and I don't know, they'll probably have to get an engineer to see if they can save the building, or if they can't save the building.
He's had crews in there, I know that.
Yeah,
So
I'll be sure. on that.
that's Randy's,
Lost the
that's the
third
building
floor,
too.
No,
He did the old third floor.
first and second floor.
So that was flat roof anyways?
That's the theater there,
Okay,
and these are the contract buildings.
okay.
But you see, all the debris is laying on
Right.
top of. Actually, that's Stan's building there,
Right.
and that's the food pantry back there, and that's that workout.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like Rennie's collected much of it, whoops. It's not what I was looking for. Much of the debris. Okay. System manual. Yeah, this
So actually,
is a fair bit on there. You can look
the
at that.
structure of the building, basically, looked like most of the, the roofing material over the structure is what loosened up, looks like all the rafters and everything are still there in place, but
Would you say, Jacob, they lost the third floor and second floor,
Just the third floor.
just the third floor?
because of what, rain and moisture and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, we blew the rubber off and blew a lot of
Right.
the insulation.
So it's one of those things that didn't help anything out, but over a long period of time, it'll it's not gonna get any better, put it that way.
Did it rain that day?
A little bit. I was just curious about that.
Yeah, I can't answer,
It's possible insurance companies are probably still. Just, they've had a lot of things to look at.
yep, they've had a lot to look at.
I heard it was insured.
But I would be, that doesn't surprise me if it was for sale. That doesn't mean buildings next to it, insurance, we take care of their own, so to speak.
Yeah.
You don't know who owned the building at that point?
I know who he is because I see him around,
Okay,
but I don't know, him personally.
so it's someone that is local.
Yeah,
Local
it's
person. Do you have anything from the council? You're not on that right now. Okay. No, I don't keep track, exactly. Anything else?
That's all I have.
No.
We'll tentatively plan to meet in February, assuming that Scott will turn.
Yep.
He needs it.
Yeah, it's. Basically. In a month's time, normal meeting, we've had special meetings that have been quite important or whatever, which probably isn't quite to that point yet.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have 2 or 3 more make it to the meeting. Because who's missing? Simone,
Brent,
Brett, and
Mark,
Mark.
that's it.
So that would be the 12th, the second Monday, right?
Think that-
The second or first?
this is the second Monday here. But the
This
first
is-
wasn't. So it was the first Monday. Does that work for you? Right,
I think so.
Sounds like it was there.
And that meeting might depend upon how quick he gets the information that we requested.
right. It's one of those things that. If it needs another week or something, I don't think most of us would have an issue pushing it off a week or something like that.
So we're talking about the 5th. Monday, February 5th,
No.
no?
The second,
The
Oh,
second.
second.
No other discussion, I guess I'll. Ask for a motion to adjourn,
I'll move it.
I hear a second. All in favor? Thank you for coming.
thank you.